Jungkook stood outside the guest room for a long moment, eyes fixed on the closed bedroom door. He told himself, Jungkook, good. She deserves this. But his heart whispered something he didn't want to hear. Then why does it hurt you too? He shut his eyes tightly, pushing away the unwanted guilt. Then he turned back to the guest room, voice cold once more. Jungkook, when she's asleep, he told the girl, leave the house quietly. Don't make a sound, the girl warned. Jungkook walked away, but no matter how far he went he couldn't escape. He echoed against silent heartbreak. It had been days since the guest room incident. Days of silence. Days of coldness. Days of him walking like a ghost in her own house. Jungkook didn't speak to her. He barely looked at her. If he did, his eyes carried the same burning hatred, but there was something else underneath it now. Something he refused to name. The rain was pouring outside when the mansion's door slammed open. He jumped at the sound. Jungkook stumbled into his hair, shirt half open, eyes red with alcohol and exhaustion. He looked broken, dangerous, lost, and he slurred, staring at her like she was the reason for every acting in his body. She stood still, fear crawling up her spine. Jungkook, you're drunk. Let me call someone. He walked toward her slowly, unsteady but determined, his gaze darkening. Jungkook, whispered, voice heavy and cracked, you ruined everything. Then stepped back instinctively. Jungkook, please. He reached her in 2 steps, grabbing her arms not gently, not harshly, but with desperate anger. Jungkook, you think you're innocent, he hissed. You think your tears can fool me again. His breath was warm and uneven. His grip tightened. He pulled her closer, too close. His heart raced in fear. Jungkook, you're hurting me. He was listening. He also made every emotion in him wild anger, pain, revenge, confusion. He pushed her back slightly toward the wall, trapping her. Jungkook, this is what you wanted, right? He muttered, voice trembling with something broken. My brother loathed you. You destroyed him. And now you're acting like a saint in my house. He shook her head quickly, tears forming. Please stop. Do this, please. Jungkook was too far gone. He leaned in, his intentions frighteningly clear, his control slipping. His hands shook on her arms. His breath hitched, became dangerously close, too close. And finally broken. Jungkook, please don't, please, instead. Her voice cracked. A sob escaped. Her tears fell onto his hand, and that single moment froze him. Jungkook's mind snapped back into clarity like his water on fire. Her tears, her trembling, her voice begging him to stop. It hit him harder than any slap. His grip loosened immediately. He stepped backwards, twice breathing like he'd been punched in the chest. Jungkook, what am I doing? He whispered, horrified. Then slid down the wall, hugging herself, crying softly. Jungkook stared at her with wide, shocked eyes as if seeing her pain for the first time. Jungkook, I believe his ears broke. He swallowed hard and shook his head violently. Without another word, he turned and rushed toward the door. He didn't even take a jacket. He didn't care about the rain. He just left. The mansion door slammed shut behind him. Jungkook stood in the storm, drenched, shaking. Her tear-filled eyes, her voice begging him to stop the fear she felt because of him. It tore through his chest like a blade. He whispered to himself, voice cracking painfully, Jungkook. In becoming a monster for the first time, guilt didn't knock. It punched him. He ran a hand through his hair, breathing unevenly. He left the mansion because he couldn't face what he almost became. Because for the first time he was afraid. Not of it, not of the truth, but of himself. The rain had stopped, but inside the mansion, everything still felt cold. He sat on the bedroom floor the entire night, hugging her knees, shaking from fear, exhaustion, and heartbreak. She didn't sleep. She didn't move. She didn't even turn on the lights. Her mind replayed the moment. Jungkook, almost. She covered her mouth, trying to silence her sobs. Why is this happening to me? What did I do? Her tears soaked the sleeves of her dress. A across the house, every room felt empty without Jungkook's presence, even if he had only filled them with anger before. But today, the silence hurt differently. She had no idea where he went. No idea how drunk he was. No idea if he was safe. Despite everything, despite all the pain he caused her, Hurt still worried for him. Jungkook didn't know how long he walked in the rain. His clothes were soaked. His hair clung to his forehead. His fists were clenched. But his mind kept replaying his trembling voice. Ying! Please, him scared. He rubbed his face, furious with himself. He had sworn to take revenge. Sworn to make her suffer. But not like that. Never like that. He looked up at the dark sky. Eyes burning. Jungkook, what am I doing, huh? His voice cracked. Jungkook couldn't breathe. The hatred felt heavy now, like it didn't belong to him anymore. And the guilt was eating him alive. The sun was barely rising when Jungkook finally walked back into the mansion. His shirt was dry from the wine, but he looked rickety, red, face tired, steps uneven. As he entered, he saw her. In was sitting on the couch, back straight, hands tight in her lap like she had been waiting for hours. Her eyes were swollen, her lips trembling. She looked scared to even breathing. The moment she heard the door, she stood up immediately. In, Jungkook, are you okay? Her voice was small, fragile. He stared at her. She was the one he hurt. She was the one he frightened. She was the one who should hate him. Yet she still asked if he was okay. That broke something in him. He looked away quickly, trying to hide the storm inside him. Jungkook. I'm fine, he muttered, though his voice wasn't steady. In hesitated, then took a step forward. In, you didn't come all night. She didn't finish. She didn't need to. Jungkook swallowed hard. Jungkook, you don't need to worry about me. His tone was meant to be cold, but it came out weak, shaken, and lowered her eyes. The silence between them felt heavy, painful, different. Jungkook looked at her again, really looked. Her eyes still held fear caused by him, and that guilt stabbed him deeper. He walked past her without another word, but his steps slowed near the staircase. Jungkook, She looked up quickly, surprised. For the first time, his voice wasn't angry or cold. It was tired, regretful. Jungkook, I won't touch you again. In blink, her breath caught. He didn't wait for a response. He just walked to his room and shut the door quietly. She stood in the middle of the hallway, heart racing. He didn't apologize. He didn't explain. But for the first time, Jungkook didn't act like a man fueled by revenge. He acted like a man running from the truth inside himself. And felt something she had felt in a long time. Hope, small, fragile, dangerous. After that night, everything changed. Not suddenly, but slowly, painfully, quietly. Jungkook didn't shout at an animal. He didn't insult her. He didn't grab her wrist or corner her out of anger. He didn't talk to her either. He simply avoided her. He would walk past her silently. Eat alone. Leave early. Come back late. Stay in his study. Door locked. And it never asked why. She just maintained the distance he wanted. It wasn't peace. It was conflict. It was two strangers living in the same house, one carrying woes, the other carrying guilt. And neither of them knew how to speak. He noticed everything he wasn't saying. The way he looked away whenever she entered the room. The way he froze if she came too close. The way he clenched his fists like he was forcing himself to stay calm. She knew it was because of that night. He regretted his actions. He felt guilty, but he would never admit it. And she would never ask him to. Jungkook thought the distance would protect her. Thought silence was better than hurting her again. Thought avoiding her meant he wasn't the monster he feared becoming, but fate had other plans. Jungkook came home early that day, still avoiding it, still drowning in quiet guilt. He headed upstairs, but something made him stop near Jungwoo's old room. The door was slightly open. Voices inside. One was Jungwoo's. The other was Mrs. Park, the family doctor. Jungkook froze when he heard his brother say, Jungwoo, I still feel guilty for everything and went through all because of me. Jungkook frowned sharply. Because of him? What did Jungwoo mean? He stayed at the door, hidden, listening. Mrs. Park sighed. Jungwoo, it was your fault she rejected you. You never even confessed. Jungkook blinked. Rejected? Never confessed. Jungwoo shook his head. Jungwoo, no she didn't reject me. Because she never even knew. I never told her how I felt. Jungkook felt his heartbeat stop. Jungwoo continued softly. Jungwoo, I loathed and quietly. I admired her. But she only ever saw me as her brother, nothing more. I was fine with that, fine. Jungkook felt his hands tremble. Then, why did Jungwoo break down all those months ago? Why did he suffer? Jungkook heard Mrs. Park ask the same question. Mrs. Park, what happened that night then? Why did you fall apart like that? Jungwoo looked down, expression full of old pain. Jungwoo, it was Tim. It was someone else, my fiance. Jungkook's entire body froze. His fiance. Jungwoo spoke again, voice soft but heavy. Jungwoo, In's cousin sister Raya. My parents fixed my marriage with her. She cheated on me the night before our engagement. She left me for another man. It broke me, but I didn't want the family to know, so I stayed silent. Jungkook's blood ran cold. His throat tightened. His legs weakened. Jungwoo whispered, Jungwoo, and somehow Rhea twisted the whole story. She told him that it had rejected me cruelly, that she embarrassed me, that I tried to confess, and she laughed at me. Jungkook's eyes widened in horror. Jungwoo shook his head. Jungwoo, none of that is true. He never hurt me, not even once. I never confessed to her. She never rejected me, and she never knew anything. He paused, guilt filling his eyes. Jungwoo, and tried to tell him the truth many times, but he never listened. Jungkook felt something inside him shatter with a loud, painful crack. His breath came out broken. His vision blurred. He ruined her life because of a lie he believed without hearing her once, a lie he let grow into hatred, a lie that made him marry her and break her heart. Jungkook slowly backed away from the door. His knees hit the wall. His chest tightened so much it hurt to breathe. He ran a shaking hand through his hair. Jungkook, oh God, he whispered, voice shaking violently. What have I done to her? He slid down the wall, burying his face in his hands. His shoulders shook. Silent cries escaped. He tasted regret like poison. He remembered, in crying alone and trembling when he approached, in asking softly, why do you hate me? In worrying when he stayed out all night. In never blaming him, in taking all the pain silently. He felt sick, disgusted with himself, destroyed. He whispered again, Jungkook, I ruined you, and you were innocent from the beginning. He didn't know how to face her. He didn't know if he deserved to, but one thing was clear. Jungkook regretted everything, and this time his regret was too deep to undo.